So in this video, we're going to look at how to find the important parts of a parabola. And remember that our parabola looks somewhat like this. This would be the vertex as our first main point. The zeros, it just depends where the parabola crosses the x-axis. And so this would be 1, 0. This would be another 0. Basically, it's the value of x that's going to make my equation 0. And then imagine that this blue line is the y-intercept. And that's where it's going to be. It's just wherever it crosses the y-axis. And then finally, the axis of symmetry it's the line, and here it's going to be dotted, where if I folded my parabola in half, it would work perfectly, it would fit perfectly over itself on that line. You can tell mine's drawn poorly because if I folded this side in half, it'd stick out way too far. But we'll see on the graph how that works. So when looking at how to find these points, first we have to put them into the y equals. And so I'm going to go to y equals, and I'll just type in negative 3x squared plus 5x plus 2. And then when I would look at my graph, I'm just going to go to zoom 6, which is my standard viewing window. And here I can see my parabola. I have a couple different options because it doesn't go too far to the left here and too far to the right. So if I wanted to adjust my window, I can just maybe take away half of the x values on either side. So maybe instead of going from negative 10, I'll go from negative 5 to 5. And then when I go back to my graph, it just makes it a little bit easier to find everything. You'll still be able to find all of these key points, but it just makes it a little bit nicer. So first, let's take a look at how we find the vertex. First, you have to determine, is it a maximum like mine, or is it a minimum like the picture I drew? And in this one, of course, it's a maximum. So I'm going to go to second, calc, and then I just select maximum. Maximum is 4. I scroll to the left of it, so it's going to create a boundary. I'm already there. And then I'm just going to scroll over till I'm just passed. So now I've just passed it, and I just go a little further to make sure I've passed it. Hit enter the third time, and here it's going to tell me that my maximum is going to be at 0.83, comma 4.08. And so that's my vertex. Now, if I wanted to find the zeros, I want to look to see where this thing is going to cross the x-axis. And the reason it's important to remember the term zeros is because that's what the calculator calls it. Remember, it's the value of x that makes this 0. So it says left bound just like before. So I'm going to scroll to the left, hit enter. Scroll to the right, hit enter. And then my guess it can be really anywhere. So my first 0 is going to be negative 1/3, and of course my y coordinate is 0. And then when I go to find my second one, I have to do the same process over again. Doesn't matter where I start. I like to be to the right of the 0 so that it's not included in my boundary. It's no way the calculator will do anything weird and give me the wrong answer. For good measure, get close. And here my second 0 is at 2, 0. Okay, these are coordinate points if you're considering them the x-intercepts, or if you think of it as 2 is the value that's going to make this parabola or this equation. If I substitute it in 2 for x, it'll make it equal to 0. To find the y-intercept, if we wanted to look for the y-intercept, what we're really curious is when x equals 0. And so the way to do this is to give it the value of x and ask it to calculate the value of y. So I go to second, calc, once again, and I want it to calculate the value of y. Now you can scroll around on your function sometimes, but I don't like to do that. I prefer just to type in the value x equals 0. It gets me exactly there. And there it says, boom, y equals 2. So my y-intercept is going to be 0, 2. And now I know exactly what that point is. You can tell that this is a completely different drawing. Now the axis of symmetry is this vertical line that goes through there. And what you might notice is that the vertical lines are always in the form x equals. The nice thing is, since we know the point that it's going through, here you can see a little better, it has to go through my vertex. So it must share this x coordinate. So it's actually x equals whatever the x value is of my coordinate. And this x equals 0.83 is going to be a vertical line. So now we found the vertex, the zeros, the y-intercept, and the axis of symmetry, all using our calculator.